suggestion is to keep your distance, cause right now I'm dangerous. We've all felt like shit and been treated like all those they wanna step up. I hope you know I pack a chainsaw, getting your ass raw. And if my day keeps going this way, I just might break something tonight. I pack a chainsaw, getting your ass raw. And if my day keeps going this way, I just might break something tonight. I pack a chainsaw, getting your ass raw. And if my day keeps going this way, I just might break your face tonight. Give me something to break. Give me something to break. Just give me something to break. How about your face? I hope you know I'm like a chainsaw. What? A chainsaw. What? I'm like a chainsaw. What? So come and get it. It's all about the he says, she says, fools. I think you better quit, let it slip, or you can leave it with a fat lip. It's all about the he says, she says, fools. I think you better quit talking that long, so come and get it.
Is she there, or is she trying to give me the slip? And I'm not the little boy that I used to be. I'm all grown up and now, baby, can't you see? Hey, Stacy's mom has got it going on. She's all I want, and I've waited for so long. Stacy, can't you see? You're just not the girl for me. I know it might be wrong, but I'm in love with Stacy's mom. Stacy, do you remember when I mowed your lawn? Your mom came out with just a little bit of towel on. I could tell she liked me from the way she stared, and the way she said you missed a spot way over there. And I know that you think it's just a fantasy, but since your dad worked out, your mom could use a guy like me. Hey, Stacy's mom has got it going on. She's all I want, and I've waited for so long. Stacy, can't you see? You're just not the girl for me. I know it might be wrong, but I'm in love with Stacy's mom. Stacy's mom. Yes, I'm in love. Stacy's mom has got it going on. She's all I want, and I've waited for so long. Stacy, can't you see? You're just not the girl for me. I know it might be wrong, but I'm in love with Stacy. Skip it up and up. Stacy, can't you see? You're just not the girl for me. I know it might be wrong, but I'm in love with Stacy's mom.
Stacy's mom was pretty hot, truth be told.
Sweet dreams are made of these. Who am I to disagree? Travel the world and the feather
Lyrics coming at you at supersonic speed.
Some of them do on a dang old human man, boy. I tell you what, I get a goddamn superhuman, innovative, animated dang old rubber, so that anything you say is ricocheting back at you, man. Devastating more than ever, demonstrating how to get a dang old audience a feeling like it's levitating, faded like a farmer's tan, man. I tell you what, here's getting worked up, complain, hot like propane, boom, how splitting them facts, man, spinning them rhymes like a dang old tornado, jib jabbing like it just ain't no thing. Why be a god and not a dang old king?
Boomhauer, I didn't understand a word you just said.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome to WreckTalk tonight. There's a lot of things that we need to air out here live on the internet and for all of you. I've had time, and we'll talk about all college football. And well, people call in. You're welcome to say, whatever the hell you want to say. That's right. Steve Austin was the Texas rattlesnake. You got the WreckTalk rattlesnake tonight. Because here's what pisses me off, and I've had time to sit here and think and ruminate about all this. And being on YouTube, I know, I also had my phone blown up, having people to tell me to drive my truck off a cliff, all of this stuff, people barking, all these other fan bases. And I expect that from other fan bases. Whatever. But then I got to turn around and hear the shit from my own fan base. I've got to hear it from Georgia Tech people as well. And I don't know what they expect from me. Like, what am I supposed to do, right? So let's take these things in the order that they've been presented to me. So I watched C-Dog's video, and I talked to C-Dog twice today. I talked to him twice on the phone, I think it was twice. And to the guy, and evidently he commented on it. I can't be certain if it was actually the guy that said this to him at the game. But C-Dog left in, I guess, the third quarter. I left when the fourth started. And the guy says, fair weather fan. Let me tell you something. To be a fair weather fan, that means your team had to be winning like 10, 11, 12 games up to this point. There ain't no fair weather. It's been tornadoes, hurricanes, volcanoes. I know what those villagers at Pompeii felt like now. Except instead of smoldering hot lava piling on top of me, it's my own football team and fans of that football team. Like, that would apply to, like, Clemson right now. If Clemson was having trouble packing their stadium out and there's fans saying that Clemson is garbage and they want to fire Dabo Swinney, that would be a fair weather fan. Not leaving in the third or fourth quarter when we're getting blown out by Bowling Green. Like, what are you talking about, fair weather fan? What do you want us to do? Just sit there and absolutely implode in public, make everyone around us uncomfortable? And by the way, from what I can gather and what I've heard talking to C-Dog, that guy just, he must be the biggest Paul Mola fan ever, because he just sits there like nothing to be concerned about here. This is totally fine. Yeah, some of us get upset and we yell and holler and cuss when we get the results we did Saturday. Fair weather fan. What an idiot. And again, I can't be certain if the guy who commented was actually the guy. But he commented on that video, we would have won if there'd have been more fans there. Yeah, that was my takeaway from the game. I was looking in the stands and I'm like, what are you guys doing? I called my whole family, every one of my friends, like, come to Bobby Dodd, because that's going to make the difference in this game. complete, ignorant, stupid. Stupid. Okay? And then I get this comment today. All right? From Ronnie Westbrook's 3794. So I guess there's 3795 other Ronnie Westbrooks, unless there's some meaning behind the number 3794. And this, guys, if you're going to leave me or anyone a comment or trying to engage in a dialogue with anyone, this is the way you do it. You guys don't know what you're talking about. Now, he commented this on the show that me and C-Dog and Benjamin London did. Now, you can call me an idiot, but those two guys are saints, all right? You guys don't know what you're talking about. And he doesn't use the right your. You are is the right use, not Y-O-U-R. This is a bad team with bad coaching. Get realistic. Now, I wish that YouTube would show me how much of the video the person that comments watched. Anyone who watched that last night's live show, do you get the sense that I wasn't being realistic about the team? Like he's acting like I was saying that Georgia Tech is the greatest team in the world in that live stream. So you guys don't know what you're talking about. This is a bad team. Get realistic. Been following Tech since 61. Been following Tech since 61. Well, you know what?
Oh, good for you. And how was it? I hope it was fucking good because it's useless now, isn't it? Oh, good for you.
Yeah, good. Good for you, man. Good for you that you've been a Tech fan since 61. Coach Dodd is rolling over in his grave if he knew what this program has become. Starts with a good AD. Unfortunately, we haven't had one since Homer Rice, who hired Crimmins and Ross. Let me tell you something. All right? Bobby Dodd's been dead for like 50 years now. And this is the thing. What is the stereotype of a Georgia Tech fan? We're pretentious. You know, we're not open to doing things that would probably benefit us because we just stick our nose up in the air at it. And this is this guy, all right? Who cares right now about Bobby Dodd and Homer Rice? I'm concerned with right here, right now. What Bobby Dodd did isn't doing nothing for us right now. Okay? And by the way, this same guy, because I look back at every other comment he had ever left because he caught me at the wrong time. He was praising hiring Jay Batt. So he contradicts himself. And by the way, we hired Dan Radakovich. Was that a bad AD hire too? We've only had one good AD? Really? Let me tell you, let's go through Dan Radakovich's resume. By the way, Slim, do you know where Slim Shady Kane's in the chat? Where's Dan right now? He was our AD. Then he went to Clemson from 2012 to 2021. And by the way, he was our AD from 2006 to 2012. So he won a 2009 ACC championship with us, won some national titles at Clemson, and now he's at Miami. And from what I can surmise, Miami's pretty good. We're going to talk about that too. But to this guy, I would say, what do you want me to do, man? Like, I felt like I was pretty realistic, and I have been, and everything I've said about since this Bowling Green thing happened. What do you want me to do? Come on here and just say, yep, everything sucks. Everybody's horrible. Fire everybody. Cut everyone off the team. No hope. We should all just go home and pretend like Georgia Tech doesn't exist. Is that, like, I'm not going to do that. You know? Like, I don't know what these people want from me. I'm not just going to get on here and just be like everything sucks, because it doesn't. That's what's so frustrating about the loss, is that we do have talent on this team. We have shown at points this year we have the capability of being a good football team, and I'm not just going to throw all that away because of what happened. I am Georgia Tech until I die. Okay, that's who I am. Maybe we can talk about that too. Is like, this is kind of the fan police thing where I've seen people saying the turnout and the fans are what's the problem with Georgia Tech. What do you expect the fans to do? Does anyone really think that what happened Saturday is because it wasn't a sellout or there weren't 40 or 50,000 people there? No. So I guess C-Dog made a great point. Because of how bad Georgia Tech has been in the past 5 years or so, the fan base has been whittled down. There's nothing but diehard fans that are watching and paying attention right now. That's all that's left. So now we're going to start attacking, people that do show up and call them fair weather. Yeah, I didn't miss a single tackle at the game. I don't know if anyone knew. There wasn't a single tackle. There wasn't a single overthrow that was WreckTalk's fault last night or Saturday. So what are we to do? Let me go up through the chat. I came in hot. I came in hot tonight, and that's fine. And if Westbrook wants to unsubscribe and say I'm an idiot, that's fine. That's fine. Nerdstop says I'm depressed. I was depressed earlier. Now I'm back in anger. I'm like going through the loop. It's like the stages of grief on loop. CJ saying being a Tech fan sure is hard. It is right now, isn't it? Thunder Ridge custom calls. Worse than the score is the sorry attendance at the game. We've addressed that. I don't think the problem with the game is the attendance. Like, whether you're playing on the Sandlot or at in front of 120,000 fans, you should be able to beat Bowling Green. Like, why would that matter? And that's the thing. Like, it's Bowling Green. It's Bowling Green. It shouldn't matter what circumstances are surrounding it. Maybe I'm not, maybe I'm unrealistic. Chris S. says student section was packed until half. Well, good. Coffee Killer says evening all. What's going on, Coffee Killer? BC Georgia Tech jackets. There's no point in going. I thought about going to the Miami game. Hell no. Now I'm not about to spend $400 or $500 on plane ticket and tickets and everything just to see what. And we're gonna look at some film on Miami tonight. By the way, but Beauty and the Beard furniture flips. Nope, we suck and might get to 4 wins, but looking worse and worse every, I'm assuming, day. Well, it doesn't look good. T. Brant says, oh my God, here we go. Yeah, I mean, dude, it just frustrates me when I have to hear it from literally everywhere I turn, including Georgia Tech fans, that I'm some unrealistic idiot. Hell, even like Slim and Bulldog Brian laid off of me the night of. I mean, if those guys laid off, like, if Tech people can't, what's going on? Win one for the C-Dog. One for C-Dog. One for WreckTalk. Mike Popcorn Porter says exactly. Slim Shady Kane says, hi, everyone. Great day, isn't it? Hi, Rec. How is your day, I guess? I'm having a great day. I'm glad you're having a good day, Slim. I woke up worried last night that you wouldn't have a good day. David Knorr, people are stupid. People know we have no coaching, especially defense and offensive coordinator and offensive line coach. I will agree with that. Most people are stupid. It's just they are. Grammar police alert. Well, when you come at me in a comment, yeah, I'm gonna go with the low hanging fruit. If your grammar's bad, I'm gonna say something about it. That's kind of trash talk 101. Brennan Simpkins, Bryce got shut down last night. Make sure you don't get shut down tonight. Oh, how did Bryce get shut down? What happened? You talking about Bryce Coon? What did he do to get shut down? Was he showing clips of the game or something? Seminole says Gold Knowles. Sorry about the tough loss, Wreck. Been there. Definitely not fun. It is not. But I'm glad you're in here, Seminole. So. Todd says, WreckTalk, let it go. Your blood pressure, man. Yeah, I've just been red in the face for like 3 days now. I know it's bad for me. Slim. So are other things. Nerd stop, every fan base online is toxic, Slim says. That is true. You know, that's true. All right. Well, here's what I've learned with breaking down film is that when I put it through this free program I use, I don't have any problems with it. So that's what I did. Now, I know not every member of the channel is watching, but we're going to find out who gets some free WreckTalk gear tonight. Let me shrink my face up a little. And every member of the channel is on here. I'm going to roll 3 times maybe. I don't know. Maybe we'll just do the first time. And we'll see who gets some WreckTalk gear tonight. Here we go. All right. Oh! Mike Doug passed over. T-Branch. I don't know if you already have WreckTalk gear. I know you're in here. But you are a winner. You're a winner, man. Definitely reach out to me. I'll get you whatever you want. And thank you for being a member of the channel. What's going on, Andrew? Let me switch back over here. Where's my... There it is. There it is. Coon's live stream got shut down. I can't remember why, but it said something about violating something. Well, Bryce needs to stop violating things. Stop violating things, Bryce. It's not good. Would you like a shirt, T-Branch? I can get you a shirt. Send me a message in the Discord. I'll get you a shirt. Oh, thanks, man. I think the products are good. The shirt feels good. Let me... How do I want to do this? I'll flip it over here. Let me go... Where's this? Yeah. First thing, and this is just 3 plays of Miami that I pulled because Tantor was right. Like, Bowling Green didn't do anything special. Bowling Green didn't throw downfield, and Miami isn't going to have to throw downfield. Here's the first play here where they're just going to do like a simple crossing route. So all of these guys are going to come across the field kind of like so. And then this cat right here is going to come across on like a drag. Now this guy right here, there's 0 possibility he's getting the ball. His sole responsibility is hide the porn files. Those are in the Haynes King folder. That's where I put all the pornography. In case you were wondering. No one thinks to look there. Now, if I wanted to hide porn files, I'd put them in the Bowling Green folder. For sure, no one would be looking in that folder. All right, but this guy's sole responsibility is going to be getting in the way of one of these linebackers so that they can't make a play on the ball. And then you tell me, does this look at all familiar to what we saw against Bowling Green? So 7, he's going to try and get in the way. And I guess you could call pass interference on this. You would never see it, but he does kind of try and trip this guy up. Like, you can see him lunge into him a little bit when he comes by. So basically all these guys are just trying to get in the way of a defender and open it up for number 4? Slim, who's number 4? I don't know any of these guys' names yet. I can tell you Miami has at least 3 wide receivers that are going to present a lot of problems for Georgia Tech. And not just Georgia Tech, they present problems for any defense they play. Jenkins says, I was watching Georgia Tech Ole Miss game a couple of weeks ago on YouTube and it got taken down. Well, yeah, that is like blatantly illegal. So if you notice, like every Saturday, someone will just be streaming the game. That's 100% theft. Yeah, you can't just stream a game on YouTube you have 0 rights to. So this guy, all these guys do their job. He's wide open. Just a simple crossing route. And Jacoby George is his name. Bowling Green did this pretty much at will all game against us. They also blitz too, which is nice. They bring, I think, 6. The other thing that's maybe the most important thing in this play, let's back up a little bit, is what's number 21, Slim, your running back? This guy's going to come free, right? They're blitzing more people than Miami has offensive linemen. What I like about Miami is they are so good at skill position wide receiver that they will sacrifice a route running back to give Van Dyke more time. So he has to come in here and meet this guy and make this block. If that doesn't happen, Van Dyke takes a sack here. Look how good he is at coming and meeting this blitzing linebacker. Just eats him up. That's what allows this play to happen. That's more important than probably anything that was happening downfield, honestly. Henry Parrish. And let me tell you something. If you think number 4 for Bowling Green was something, these 2 backs are 20 times as good as that kid was that Miami has. All right. Now, this is the very next play. What happened versus Bowling Green? Don't ask that again. Don't you ever ask me that. Are you stupid or something? Don't you call him that. Don't you ever call him that. So Texas A&M here. This is the very next play. So they burn them underneath. Okay. Now they're going to say, all right, 2nd and 7. Well, maybe this isn't the next play. It can't be the next play if it's 2nd and 7. It's not for much further on. Now they're gonna beat them over the top. They're in a very similar defense where this guy's gonna come down. The safety, he's gonna have like this curl flat zone. Corner is gonna back off. They're gonna be in cover 3, and I think this back runs a flat. But notice they have a 2-back set. They want to go downfield. So they're gonna keep Parrish in again to get some extra blocking. Should Miami blitz, right? Give a little extra time. I don't think they do. They don't blitz. Good protection. I think Miami's given up 2 or 3 sacks all year. I don't know if they gave up. That was up until last game. Well, they were on a bye this week. So, yeah, they've given up 2 or 3 sacks, I believe, all year. Pretty good offensive line. And all the time in the world. all the time in the world. And this guy just gets separation. The DB here eats shit. Touchdown. One more time. Here's the thing. You can't give a quarterback this much time. Their skill positions are good enough that this is going to happen to you. Big play. All right. This is another thing. So they've gone over the top. They've gone underneath. This is a tunnel screen. So if you're an aspiring defensive lineman, here's advice from WreckTalk. Anytime you become the greatest pass rusher in the world, it's a screen. I can guarantee you that. So they're going to bump off and then go find someone downfield to block. All these linemen. Wide receivers are going to kind of drag over, find someone to block. And number 7 here is going to catch the ball. And then usually you bend this back up. That's what the tunnel screen is. He doesn't do that. He actually catches it and comes back out. Now, what's probably the most important thing in defending a screen is your linebackers. Scary, right? Our linebacker play has not been good at all. So there's 2 things. One, your linebackers need to recognize the screen and get back and not get caught out of position upfield. The same with your defensive linemen. Once you see there's like no resistance to a pass rush, you need to stick your foot in the ground and back up and try and defend the pass. Miami does a really good job because Van Dyke actually changes the throw directory here. He throws it sidearm like Randy Johnson to even get this ball out. Really good by Van Dyke there. And, they block it well. Also, missed tackle. Missed tackle. That seems all too familiar. Got to wrap up. So I will do a complete film breakdown of the Miami. I haven't really looked at their defense quite so much. The scary thing is Kevin Sherr, who was just promoted to DC, was our linebackers coach. And our linebacker has probably been the worst position group on the field if I had to guess. Who is TVD? So we'll see. I mean, just from what I've seen, if there's not major changes to defense, particularly linebacker play being better, like Miami will be able to play their backups toward the end of the third quarter. It is what it is. Miami has 21 missed tackles in 4 games. Well, hopefully they have a good bit against Tech. I mean, the thing is, I don't know what our offense's issue was last game. They were just way out of sync. Our offense can score points. This will be the best defense we've seen all year. In fact, this will be the best team we've seen all year. I don't know. It's on the road as well. So I'll drop the StreamYard link. If you want to come in, say your piece direct, trash me, trash Georgia Tech, whatever. We'll talk about it. Yeah. Let me clean up my screen here a little bit. Click the StreamYard link if you want to call in. Slim, I feel like I know you got something you'd like to say. Kenny, I see you in there, but it says devices not connected. So I can't actually let you in. Oh, other thing, with the picks that, there you are. Let me switch screens here. Where's my no trust screen? There it is. Let me turn my desktop audio up. What's going on, Nerd Stop? How are you?
All right, so I got like 2 words to say, and that is, this sucks.
Oh, yeah. It does suck. Thank you, Nerd Stop. I guess that was all he had to say. Mystic, what's going on?
How you doing, man? It's going.
Yeah, man. What do you got tonight? What do you want to talk about tonight? What are you gonna do when Hulkamania runs wild on you?
Oh, God. I'm too young for that. But I've seen clips. I'm over the Bowling Green game.
Yep.
Surprisingly, that was fast for me. What I'm real curious to see though is I just want to hope that the team mentally doesn't just or give in after that game. That's really what I'm worried about.
Yeah, we talked a lot about mentality, and look, something's obviously bad wrong. Like Papa WreckTalk used to say, there's something bad wrong with you, boy. And there's something bad wrong with this team. I mean, it's not like when you look at this Bowling Green game, like it's not a talent thing. So you know, I don't know. It seems like we're just afraid to make a play, or we're afraid something bad's going to happen.
My thing is, and I'm pretty sure I said this whenever I put a little donation, which you're welcome. I don't want to be an ass. I'm sorry. Anyways, no.
No, thank you so much.
I feel like the players, and I want it to be said the wrong way, but Key even talked about it, is you got to learn just how to win. And I don't mean like we can't win, but it's like the mentality of winning and not getting your head up in the clouds and learning how to win. I feel like that's part of it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, look, Tech's not the only team that has gone through this kind of learning how to win thing. As good as Miami is this year, they've kind of been in that for the last decade or longer. But yeah, no, we got to get it. We got to get it fixed, and I don't really know how you address that. Like, you know.
Truthfully, and the only way I've seen it addressed is you just get recruits that you start building with the recruits and go from there. Like I said, I don't think our team isn't talented, but I feel like when you have Jeff Collins, and I don't want to rehash it too much, but when you have so many like just 3 wins losses, that builds.
Yeah. Yeah,
but
and
you get fresh recruits and all that. It's just start there.
That is a good point. Like, I don't know how much of the Collins is left over in some of these players in this team, and I'm not kind of retroactively blaming Collins, but when you've kind of had the culture that we've had for so long, like, I do think it takes time to kind of break out of that. The head scratching part is kind of last year we went and beat Pitt, and we beat Duke, and we beat Virginia Tech, and played Georgia pretty well, and it just seems like, man, how could we have taken such a step back on defense? And look, it could be that losing A. Sealy, Charlie Thomas, and Keon White was just that big of a hurdle to overcome this year.
I think it is an aspect, because like I said, I feel like every good defense, or every defense has one of those players that's just a badass player. They're just, and you just know they are.
Yeah, and we don't really have that on this team this year, even though like people like LaMiles Brooks,
like people make plays here and there, but it's like nobody's like every game. Like Charlie Thomas, he'd make a play every game. He would.
Yeah, well, even people that are on the roster this year, like LaMiles Brooks, was a fantastic player for us last year. Now, we've kind of talked about, I don't know what's kind of going on with him. He seems to be Like he seems to have been sat for injury or whatever. But yeah, we don't have that guy that you can point to and say he's going to make a play when we have to make it, like Charlie Thomas was, like Keon White was.
No, yeah, like I said, that's one of those things. But with the thing about the defense last year, and I don't want to put this in a negative way, but we really had a lot of games with a lot of turnovers that we won when you really look at it. Like North Carolina, I think we had like 4. Like Pitt was like 4 as well. Virginia Tech was like 3. We had a lot of turnovers.
We did, and a good bit of those were like good coverage too, though, like stepping in front of balls. Meeting a guy like at the line of scrimmage so hard you knock the ball out. We just have not been making plays like that.
Yeah, I mean it's tough.
Well, when we do meet the ball carrier, it's like 10 yards downfield. That's the other problem.
Well, yeah, bad tackling, bad ankles. Story of the year. It's just I don't know what they're gonna do with the linebackers. I really don't. That's my biggest concern. I feel like D-line, they'll step it up. I feel like you can get players that'll step up. Like Kennard is one of those. I feel like he can step up if he really just gets going.
Yeah, someone said that in the chat. Maybe Kennard is the guy that can be the difference, or that kind of difference, heady kind of guy. And yeah, I think it's a lot easier to correct things on defensive line, just because it's a much easier position to play. You can just say, go get the quarterback, right? At linebacker, you got to be a lot headsier. You know, it's a much more difficult position to correct these issues at.
No, yeah, it is. But I mean, with Moala, I don't understand. It's like I don't understand if it's just like a mental thing or if it's something else. It's just like he's so far behind every time I see a big play.
Well, I think like with Mola, the thing that I don't understand is he's so out of position, but also he's like a 6-year guy. So like he's played a lot of football, and I don't understand. I could understand like maybe someone out muscling you or something. I don't understand like not
out muscling, out physical, something like that. But like the aspect of you should know where your position is. That's something I don't get.
Yeah, and when I was breaking down kind of the Bowling Green game today, like I really do think he didn't know who his man was on that crossing route, because first of all, he didn't move. His first step was going with a guy that was already covered. So I'm just kind of like, I mean, that seems like he didn't know what his responsibility was for that play. I mean, that's insane to me.
No, I think I'll say that though. I watched that video. There's a play where it was I think the first play, the third quarter, that they had that little motion route and then threw the underneath to the tight end. He went up the field. Even though that was a big play, one thing I will say though is effort. Yes, he was out of position, but he realized real quick, faster than I think Moala realized all of this.
No, I agree. And with Kyle Effort, that makes a lot more sense to me because he's a freshman. You hear?
Which, I mean, like I say, he's out of position, but you're a freshman, so that's something, at least when you realize it, that's something to build on.
Yeah, I think Effort will be a good player for us. Now, here's the devastating thing, is I don't know how many years Tatum has left. I feel like this is Tatum's last year. Oliver only
he's a junior.
Oh, he's a junior, so he'll be there next year. But Oliver and White are ones and dones for us. Mola will be gone next year too. So we're gonna have like a massive, just as far as body count, like hole to fill with linebacker. Like I don't know, we're gonna have to really recruit or hit portal at linebacker in the off season.
No, yeah, definitely. And one thing that I thought about though is like when I don't want to rehash too much, but when I said like, you know, having the winning mentality, you know, hey, the way he goes about it though, he at least has that. I feel like that mentality is trying to turn to the winning, like, you know, to try and learn to win, teach the team how to win almost.
Well, yeah, at least in his press conference, he seemed pissed off and, you know, unhappy with what just happened.
No, I mean, you should be.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, but I saw him a while, and it's just like, he just didn't seem that, like, pissed off.
He didn't seem that pissed off, and it's just like, that in conjunction with the play on the field, I'm just kind of like, okay, I feel like there's no reason for me to think this is going to get better. Even if effort is out of position, like you said, at least he's moving quicker.
Yeah, like he at least recognized it, you know. Like if you're out of position, you're a freshman though, but as long as you recognize it quick enough, you know, build on that, you know. Like start learning where you got to get faster, where you got to go, build on that. But a 6-year senior, you should not be that far out of position.
No. Raf LPZ, I see you. You're welcome to call in, Raf, if you want to. You're leaving. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like a lot of teams don't play well in like blackout games though. Like, so I guess it is. They're going to wear their ghost uniforms, I guess, against us, which hopefully there's a curse with those ghost uniforms. You know, they're also an Adidas school, so they're doing the same thing.
What I didn't like is we wore those during the day, you know. They're supposed to be like glow in the dark. Like, why not wear them at night, you know?
Yeah, I mean, that I don't know if that's something controlled by Adidas, but whoever's decision that was really didn't make a whole lot of sense to me.
No, it didn't. I'm not one to be picky about the uniforms. The team's all the same to me.
No, it doesn't really matter. I just think with a loss like that, you're like everything irritates you. So, well, all right, Mystic.
I truthfully, hey, I gotta get going anyways. I gotta get in the shower and get ready for tomorrow.
I heard that, man. Well, I appreciate you coming on, and I appreciate you for the super chat yesterday, man. Thank you so much.
No problem, man. You have a good one.
You too. GT fan, I think you called in last night. How are you, sir?
I'm doing really good, sir. What about you?
As well as can be expected, I guess. I thought I was over things, and I got pissed off looking at what people were saying. What you got tonight?
Kind of wanted to talk about two things, mainly about Andrew Thacker and the new defensive coordinator, because I'm not really too sure on how that's going to work, because I was very, I didn't really call for Andrew Thacker to be fired until the game against Bowling Green. Other than that, you know, I mean, obviously there were a few things that concerned me with our defense, like such as broken tackles and like big plays like bombs.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, I didn't call for Andrew Thacker to be fired, but this was very unexpected in my opinion. And I got to say, I'm kind of nervous for our defense against Miami.
Well, here's the thing is it's like I said in the video today, like I think a lot of fans are happy that Thacker's fired, but what really like substantive difference is that, you know, gonna make? Like it might, but I don't know. Like it's not like there's just we're one kind of tweak away from the defense being, you know, a whole lot better. And it is weird. Like we haven't really talked about this a lot with this move. It's very uncommon in not just in football, but in any type of job that someone who's like in management or in a leadership position is demoted. almost always they're fired. And some of the reasons for that are it's almost like a fraternization issue where now it's not really clear who is the leader truly. Like if we don't like what Cher is saying, now we go talk to Thacker. You can kind of have dissent when you do that. So that he was demoted, I guess he believes that he will not do that, I guess, that he'll be a team player. But it is worrying to me that the demotion as opposed to the firing.
Yeah, me too. And I wasn't too surprised that he wasn't like fired because, I don't really think that Georgia Tech has the money to, just fire everyone. And that's something else that kind of pisses me off too, is when, our fan base being like, oh, well, everyone just needs to be fired. Then what's going to happen? Once everyone's fired, then what's going to happen?
Well, yeah, then you need an end game. First of all, we just signed Thacker to a new deal, as well as like pretty much everyone on the staff, because we just had a head coaching change. We're $300 million in debt currently. Yep. So, yeah, I mean, to me, that's a very fan overreactive thing. And I see Slim in the back room. I'll get to people in the order that they came in. But ask Miami, ask Florida, ask Tennessee how just getting on a coaching carousel works for a team. It doesn't. Spoiler alert. Now, Am I saying that we didn't need a change? Not necessarily. I mean, I tend to trust the guy who's calling shots. But Texas, too, yeah, you're right, Slim. Very rarely to me is the answer you just clean a house,
Yeah. It really sucks that we are $30 million in debt or however much we're in debt.
10 times that, $300 million.
Wow. Yeah. It really hurts.
Well, yeah, and I think you just got to focus on now. First of all, that's kind of inflated. We're sitting on money. We're sitting on about $175 million for this renovation. Or not renovation, but this north end zone, whatever the hell it's going to be. So it's more like $125 million. But I think you just got to focus on the things you can control, and that's the other thing that makes you nervous. As far as people, like mindset stuff, I guess, and not really having the correct focus. I guess the good thing is that if that's something that can be corrected, I just don't know that it's easy or something that's corrected in 1 week.
Well, I mean, I have faith that it could be corrected, like the broken tackles and everything, like other issues. But because, last year after the firing of Collins, when Key completely took over the team, that was pretty much a dumpster fire, just waiting for bad stuff to happen and like the other shoe to drop. The minute Jeff Collins was gone, we were an instantly better team. So that might be with our defense, but I don't know.
Yeah, and I'm sure Slim will bring that up, and I see it in the chat of like, well, maybe that was just rallying around the interim. And maybe I was wrong about that. It's just still head-scratching to me that we would be, like, with all the things I knew Jeff Collins was doing, like, I feel like just rallying around the interim didn't explain how much better we played. Who's saying that I shut down my channel? B-Bean, what are you talking about? If my channel got shut down, it wouldn't be because I shut it down. It would not be something I had control over. But, I see what you're saying, man, and I totally agree with that. We do have some other callers to get to, so, man, I appreciate you calling in, appreciate you supporting the channel, and have a good night.
You too. Go Jackets.
All right, now we have Sad Georgia Tech fan. How are you doing tonight? Is it sad?
It is a little bit sad, but we're getting over it.
Yeah. I'd kind of said today that I've fully accepted what has happened, and then I just didn't expect to get hit up by other Georgia Tech fans. But what do you want to talk about tonight?
Yeah, so I was here yesterday, so I'll keep this one quick so other people can call. But
Sure.
really just curious, what do you know about the new defensive coordinator? Do you expect to see some change in the defense because of his promotion, or I just don't know anything about this guy really.
So he is kind of an Alabama, I wouldn't say coach and legend. He has strong ties in Alabama, and it's similar to how Key does. He does have 2 national title rings, being like the director of player development for Alabama. Like in the early, like 2012, I think was one of them. 2010 and 2012. I could be wrong. Then he was the DC at Tennessee under Jeremy Pruitt. He, for 2 years, I think 1 year was they were in the 30s total defense, and then they took a big step back. I think Pruitt was fired. Then he went to the University of Georgia as a linebackers coach and coached. Look, I don't want to talk anything great about Georgia, but coached some really, really good linebackers on some pretty good Georgia defenses there. Then I think he went to the Giants, and I believe he was fired by the Giants. When we hired him, I think he was sitting on his couch. So I don't, whatever you want to make of that, I don't expect great. I shouldn't say I don't expect great things. I don't expect a massive improvement just because Kevin Scherer is our coordinator, if that answers your question.
Yeah, I mean, I heard what you were saying about the fact that he's the linebackers coach, and our linebackers have been anything but good this season. But, it's just, you wonder if it's not just Key making that change just to have somebody else be the voice there. Because, again, it seems like it may be a problem with the players responding. Maybe they just weren't responding to Thacker. I mean, they were last year. It seemed like it.
Yeah.
I mean, we had some good time with him.
Yeah, like North Carolina, Pitt, like all those wins that we had over good teams last year were defensive wins, were with defenses that were led by Andrew Thacker. And I think that's another conversation to be had of, is this somewhat an overreaction? It's hard to say with how bad the defense has been this year. And I don't think that the promotion of Kevin Scherer, and this is where we just, I guess, have to trust, because Key seems to be super high on Scherer. He says he's the best linebackers coach that he knows. Now, the play of the linebackers can't be the reason he was promoted. I mean, he was already co-DC. But you're right. It could be a new voice and kind of a new way of doing things is what Key's looking for. And that could be the case. Like, I don't know. But, yeah, I don't have a reason to think the defense is going to hold Miami to 300 yards next week.
Yeah, no confidence there. Well, okay, last thing, and I'll let you move on. Good luck with the Canes fans. That's going to be fun for you.
Oh,
but no, last thing. I mean, I'm looking at the schedule right now. What do you think, just in terms of trying to think about moving on, do you even think a bowl game is possible at this point? I mean, Miami and UNC obviously don't look good. Boston College has been similar to us, really. Virginia's been bad, but I don't know.
Are you asking me, do you think we can make a bowl?
Yeah, and I mean, what do you expect the record to be, or can you expect anything at this point?
As far as I'm concerned, I'm not even thinking about a bowl anymore. To me, it has to be simplified to, I got to see what we look like against Miami, because really all bets are off for me now. Like, I wouldn't even be comfortable giving a prediction for the rest of the season. It could be that we don't win another game. It could be that we roll off 4 wins. Now, obviously,
we're
one
so
of those
volatile.
One of those is way more likely than the other. If you just put a gun to my head and said, how many wins do you have left? I'd say 1 or 2.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, we're just so unpredictable at this point. I can't really disagree.
Yeah, I'm with you.
All right, man. Well, hope you have a good night, and we'll see what happens versus the Canes. Hoping for the best. Go
Can
Jackets.
do, man. Appreciate it, man. Thanks for calling in. I know you called in last night. Now it's time for me to eat some crow. Slim Shaky Canes. Welcome to the show, man. How are you?
I'm actually going to be nice, and tonight you're not going to have to eat crow.
That's fine. No, I earned it. I talked a lot of I hyped this team up in the preseason. I mean, I'm kind of do it.
Well, I am going to toot my own horn a little bit, and like, there's a reason I said the things I did about Georgia Tech, because I've seen Miami go through it.
Yeah, you got some experience with what we're going through right now.
Yes, frankly, Miami does. And, you know, y'all wanted to completely disregard it when I said that, you know, there is a rallying around, kind of a hype when Jeff Collins got fired. Now, I'm not the biggest X's and O's guy, but I do notice trends in college football. And that does seem to be the trend, is a lot of times when a bad coach gets fired, a team kind of gets a morale boost and can pull off some wins that they wouldn't have.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think from our perspective, it was just like, because like obviously you know Miami better than me, I know Tech better than you. With everything that I knew was going on with Collins, I was just kind of like, man, I just don't think that explained how much better that team played. But I will give you this. I do, from what I've seen this season, there could have been an interim bump that I was disregarding. So I'll give you that.
Well, and kind of an interim bump. It's never, and see, people always try, especially online, to just point at one thing. And it's never just one thing. And I'll use Miami as an example here, because obviously they had a bad year last year. You know, do I think it was, you know, just the injuries or just Josh Gaddis? Or because if you notice, I wasn't all that irate about how, obviously, the Middle Tennessee game, I went off, but I wasn't that all that irate about the season in general, because I picked Miami to go 6-6 in the preseason.
Yeah, and you, to your credit, was one of the only Miami fans. In fact, I can't think of a Miami fan that was that low on Miami last year.
Well, number one, first, and I get that you were not wanting to count Georgia Tech in this, but year one of a new coaching staff, just, and to me, this covers the entire country in general, is just a wash.
No, that is generally true. And from my standpoint, I just felt like he had already, if he could do that with what he had last year and win 5 games, I just felt like, man, I don't think we'll take a step back. And we could very well win 4 games this year. In fact, that if we are favored in another game, it would only be 2, right? So I don't know. And I'm not saying the Middle Tennessee game was comparable to Bowling Green. Bowling Green was definitely a way worse loss than y'all's was to Middle Tennessee. But it is interesting, kind of, there are some similarities between y'all last year and this year.
And, you know, like, I don't know all the ins and outs of the turnover on your staff, who stayed, who he had to bring in new. But, like, that's part of the reason that I picked Miami to do what they did, because, number one, I saw that team in 21, when Van Dyke came in, really rally around Manny. And then you end up firing him anyway, is kind of a morale killer. And then number two, you go from, you know, a Rhett Lashley spread RPO up tempo to Josh Gaddis with his kind of a power spread pro style mix. I mean, you literally offensively went from one end of the spectrum to the other.
Sure.
And it's why I point Miami fans to this all the time, because Joel Klatt did a really good video breaking down the difference and even just the language of the offense and what really led into them having a lot of trouble offensively. And that's why they're having more success this year, because they went back to a very similar system to Rhett Lashley and very similar terminology.
Yeah, and I think from what I've seen from your offense this year, y'all have kind of simplified things from a standpoint of really targeting the strengths. Like y'all do have, I don't know how many of these kids on this team this year were there last year. Like these 3 wide receivers you have that are pretty good. I think 2 of them are.
They
new.
were there, but one was there last year. He was a JUCO transfer.
Okay.
You know, obviously first year transferring from JUCO, there's an adjustment period. But he was the standout last year.
Yeah.
Another one was a true freshman last year, so you expect some growing pains. Plus, I also think it helped that Mario had to come in and clean house. I mean, he sent 19, 20 guys packing, and some of them, like Middle Tennessee, it to me is much like how you're comparing Bowling Green. Like, if you even give a damn, you win that game. That's just lack of effort.
It's something.
And I think that was a big problem with Miami. And I guess that kind of leads me to my overall point of, like, everybody knows this when it comes to multiple things in life. So I don't know why people think football is excluded from this. Things tend to get worse before they get better.
Yeah, unfortunately for Tech, we just got done with Collins, so worse is going to be quite painful.
I get it. I do. And then there's, and I say this to Miami fans all the time. You've heard me say this I'm talking about Miami plenty. Some of it's just going to take time as far as raising the talent level at Georgia Tech, because the talent level is nowhere near equivalent to Miami.
Oh, that's 100% true. And I don't even know that, unless things change, that our goal should be to have the talent level of Miami. What we do
in time, sure.
Well, maybe in time. What I'm saying is, we have a new scheme. We have a new offensive coordinator in Buster Faulkner, and it's gonna take a year or 2 probably to get the people in to run the scheme he wants. And the same with the defense. Now, the other thing we haven't really talked about is, because we demoted our DC and promoted our co-DC, what does that do to morale? And
I don't like it.
Not just of players, but your coaching staff. When your coaching staff is on a 1-game leash, that can't feel good for them either.
No, and I think that is a complete. And I get the fan base being mad about it, but in my opinion, that is a complete overreaction.
Yeah, I don't know if it is or not. My instinct tells me it is, just because, look, I was saying, I mean, what does that change really do? Like, what do you, so having Kevin Scherer as our DC now, again, does that make us competitive defensively against your offense? Probably not. And the other thing is, if we look worse on defense, which would be hard to do, or the same, now you look stupid. Well, why did you make the change if there's no change on the defense?
And I don't think Miami is a good barometer of better or worse.
It depends on what you mean. So, yeah, what I'm looking for is not necessarily holding you to a certain number of yardage, but do you fundamentally look better?
Right. Like, you know, if Miami comes out and puts up 50 points and 500 yards of offense, that doesn't necessarily make the change good or bad, is what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah. But can you tackle? Can you even be in the right position? I guess that's number one. Whether you tackle or not, we'll set that aside. Can you just be in the right position of the field? I mean, that's kind of, unfortunately, where we're at.
Well, and that was one of the problems Miami was having, and maybe there is some people that I know, because of the lack of talent, he's obviously not wanting to do it, but maybe there is some purging of that roster that needs to happen.
There could be. I mean, especially with kind of what we've kind of beat a dead horse with it, but what we've heard in press conferences, and that's why I said, look, this week might be like a week of practice where we just have to say, hey, we're going to find out who wants to be here and play. you know?
Yeah, because Miami had something very similar, and I have harped on it for years. And what was that, 2021? Mike Harley straight up said in a post-practice interview, yeah, the wide receivers just, we put in the 20 hours a week with the coaches, and that's it.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing: if you're going to be successful at your position, if you're going to be successful as a team, those guys have to take the initiative and put in extra time on their own, because the coaches are only allowed around them 20 hours a week.
Well, yeah, there's a few things. Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, because this is where we are at Georgia Tech, you have to take advantage of the time you are putting in. So if at practice you're not giving your 100% on every rep, or you don't really have your heart or head in it, then it doesn't really matter what you do at practice, whether it's 10 hours or 100 hours.
Right.
And that kind of speaks to the, like, who really wants to be here. Mike Jones says Saban lost to UL Monroe in year one. It happens. Yeah, it does. I still don't think this loss to Bowling Green is excusable.
Well, Georgia Tech obviously isn't on the level of even what Alabama was when Nick Saban took over, but that kind of speaks to my point. You know, Nick Saban went 7-5 his first year. Kirby Smart went 7-5 his first year. You know, I mean, everybody, Miami fans, and really everybody included, talks about that 0-1 team. Listen, they won 5 games when Butch Davis brought in that first class.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're down, that is a constant of college football. You are not turning a team around in one off season. It just is what it is, whether it's Miami or whether it's Georgia Tech. Now, it could be done faster, and obviously in the transfer portal era, where transferring is obviously more prominent than it used to be. I mean, transferring's been around forever, but it's definitely much more prominent than it used to be. So, can it be done a little faster? Sure. I mean, look at Florida State, but I mean, at the same time, there is no recruiting base at Florida State, and Mike Norvell has no choice but to hit the portal every year.
Yeah, I see Kuhn Lin. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. But I appreciate your comment. And says, remember that Kirby Smart lost to Vandy in year one. Yeah, and that's where I think as a Tech fan base, we do need to cool our jets a little bit. Like, have a little patience and say, look, yeah, year one's going to be rough. Part of year two might be rough too. And also keep in mind, Nick Saban and Kirby Smart took over infinitely better situations at those schools than what Kirby Smart's taken over at Georgia Tech. So,
yeah, and Mario at Miami too. Now,
100%.
and this is where I'll put it on the coaching staff. And I'll use Miami as an example again. When Butch Davis took over in the mid '90s, obviously, Guy was a talent evaluating wizard, because you know they had limited scholarships. A lot of the guys left. He didn't have much to work with. But beyond all that, it took him and the team really just getting a signature win to turn the corner. And it happened in '99. I mean, Miami went up to Syracuse and got absolutely blown out, like 45-7 or something like that. And then they turned around and had to play, and this should show you the cyclical nature of college football, number 1 UCLA at home the very next week. Knockdown, drag out, they beat UCLA at home, and that was their turning point. So once they have time to do what they're doing, let them do what they have to do, and then you put it on them to find that signature win that kind of creates that turning point for you.
Yeah, and I don't necessarily look, because you can't just roll over and say this season's a loss, because you have to recruit in the offseason. And I think that the pitch for Georgia Tech is go steal a win this year, either Miami, North Carolina, Clemson, even Syracuse. Syracuse is a good team. Go have a good showing against one of those teams, and then you can pitch, we're just a few pieces away, and you could be that piece that turns the corner, and has us competing for the ACC or something. Now, go ahead.
Oh, well, to that point, or you do it the Dabo Sweeney route, where if Brent Key and that staff is the coaches you think they are, they can win with less talent. Because
look at Wake.
Right up through. The reason I used Dabo Sweeney, because right up through winning that first national title with Deshaun Watson in 2016, they were averaging like the 15th ranked roster in the nation.
Yeah, and because he was able to build to that, because they were really just a win away for a while, that's where Clemsoning came from, right? Of really getting to the top of college football. And that probably helped them pitch Deshaun Watson and say, you're the guy that leads this team to the promised land. And they did it with Deshaun, and then they rolled it with Trevor Lawrence. They had the best quarterback in the country for, 7 years.
Yeah, so I mean, that's just to the point of you don't even necessarily have to be the most talented team in the country. If Brent Key is as good, and I'm not saying he's not, I'm not saying he is. Only time will tell.
Yep.
If he turns out to be that good, he can make something happen with less talent. That's what good coaches, do. But that, once again, it takes time. Rome was not built in a day.
No, and that's what whoever is the head coach, in the future at Georgia Tech. And I do think it's Brent Key. But if you are going to win at Georgia Tech, you will have to do it with less talent. I mean, that's just the reality we're in.
Sure. And listen, to your point, you don't want to get in that coaching carousel that, like I said, Texas, Tennessee, Miami, Florida, because it gets you absolutely nowhere. You're constantly taking a step forward and 2 steps back.
Yeah. You gotta have some patience. Yeah, and you're right, Nerd Stop. Paul Johnson did that. For all the the crap we want to give Paul for his offense and whatnot, Paul won a lot of football games at Georgia Tech, and he won almost all of them with less talent.
Right.
Now let me ask you this: we play you Saturday. Couldn't seem like we're more worlds apart as far as where we are as a program right now between Miami and Georgia Tech. What do you expect to see Saturday? Do you think there's anything to you look into North Carolina, or you being undefeated and maybe having a letdown game? It'd be interesting to see what your take is.
I don't, because, and Mario says this constantly to the press, so I'm sure he's saying it 3 times as much to the team. And I'll say it now. After the season you had last year, who the hell are you to overlook anybody?
Yeah. We kind of gave you the roadmap for what not to do last week.
I mean, they gave themselves the roadmap. Like I said, after the season they had last year, who are they to overlook anybody? It's not like Miami's dominated Georgia Tech in their time in the ACC. North Carolina's won 6 out of the last 8 against us. We haven't beat Clemson since 2013-ish, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
May have been 11 or 12. I don't remember exactly. It's been so long ago. Not that we play Clemson that often, but I mean, that's part of the reason. We just don't play them that often.
Yeah, I think your point is y'all haven't won anything yet, right?
Yeah, and listen, as good as they're looking, and people need to look past some of the trash talk online. Like I haven't changed, and you can vouch for this. I said this all throughout the preseason or off season, whatever you want to call it. At Miami's cap was 8 wins. I've changed that to 9 because I figured Texas A&M would quite possibly be a loss, but that's it. I'm still not expecting Miami to be some world beater this year. The team still has problems, and a lot of them are self-inflicted. Penalties are still a problem with this team. They've had 2 games with over 100 yards in penalties.
Yeah, the toughest part of your season is still well ahead of you. North Carolina, Clemson. You got back-to-back after Tech. Those are two pretty tough games for you. Luckily, Clemson you play at home, but you got to go on the road to Chapel Hill. I think North Carolina's still undefeated. Virginia you should be able to handle. I'd even give you at NC State. But you gotta go to Tallahassee. That's going to be a knockdown drag out. Louisville, pretty good team, and Boston College.
They seemed human this weekend, though.
They did.
Louisville seemed human. And another reason I don't think Miami is, especially this weekend, is going to be overlooking anybody. This is supposed to be Akeem Mesidor's first game back from injury, our best defensive end. This is supposed to be Cam Kitchen's first game back from that scary incident in the Texas A&M game. And it's also, there was another one. We've also played this entire season so far without our best tight end, Elijah Arroyo, who, this is just for people that follow recruiting much more than me, have said he's probably the best athlete on that team, regardless of position.
Okay, so you've had some people coming off injury. I'll bring Sea-Dog in here with us if there's anything you'd like to say to Sea-Dog.
I don't want to hear from Slim. I was about to call you, and then I was like, oh, man, he's on freaking stream, so I thought I'd jump on. Dude, look at this freaking comment this guy left me on my latest video. It's crazy. Have you seen this? The freaking car fire after the Louisville game? Have you heard of this?
No, man. Fill us in.
Dude, okay, go to the comment section. This is crazy. Go to the comment section on my newest video.
Okay.
This guy, I think his name's Tony Rock or something like that. He left me a comment, and I was blown away, dude. I was like, what? It was crazy.
What's his name again?
Away.
It's Tony Rock or something. He left a comment.
Oh, yeah. He says, I was actually looking for you at the game. Didn't know how to find you. My son and I thought about walking to the top where I just seen you where you were. Is that the guy you're talking about?
Yeah. Read that comment chain.
Okay, hold on. Guy that's in the back room says, do you still think we can make a bowl? Diehard disgruntled fan is all. I get it. Hold on. I'm looking. Which one in particular? Because there's a bunch. Oh,
he only left 2 comments.
Oh, my bad. Okay. Where? Hold on. There's 3 replies. I can only see 2, and they're both from you.
Really?
Did he? Hold on. Why can't I see all the replies? I see 3 replies, but it only shows 2.
I've had that problem.
YouTube. Dadgummit.
Oh, did it?
All right.
Did it filter his comment? Was it that bad?
No. Let me I'll send you a picture of a screenshot of it, and I'll send you the link that he sent me too.
Okay.
I'll jump out of here. It's crazy, dude. You got to check this out. It's crazy. All right. See you guys.
Well, you don't have to jump out.
Dog. Well, he didn't want to talk to me. If I had feelings, that would have hurt him.
He said he didn't want to hear from you.
Yeah. I'd have taken that personally if I had any feelings.
Yeah, I think YouTube filtered the comment, and I forget about that. And sometimes people will comment something, and for really mild things they say, it will not show until I approve it.
Well, and there's a comment on Sea-Dog's video after he walked out of the video, and he pinned it to the top. And to me, it kind of exemplifies my point of people need to temper their expectations. I get you that people are all in on Brent Key, and I'm not knocking that. But, dude said, and Sea-Dog pinned it to the top. Dude said, oh, I got a Key tattoo on me, and I was going to get something in tribute to Haynes King, but now I'm rethinking it. Come on, man.
Well, first of all,
Like,
tattooing another man's name on you is not a great look.
Well, no, he just got a tattoo of a key.
Oh,
Kind of like that shirt you came up with. Yeah.
That's Bryce Coon's shirt, but yeah, I know which one you're talking about.
Okay, yeah. And I'm like, come on, man. Like, it has never crossed my mind. Like, maybe I'm just a little different. Like, I don't even buy a specific player's jersey. I never have.
Are you built different?
And then, I guess, I mean, I just, like, I've bought custom jerseys for Miami and Tampa Bay and whatever, but I've just never bought a specific player's jersey. Just not my thing, because players come and go. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, I see other people can't see his reply either. Yeah, you know what happened? He probably deleted the comment. That's happened to me many a time where I go back. C-Dog, you need to come back on and tell us, just gives us a synopsis of what this guy said. Something about burning Louisville down or something, or burning a car in Louisville.
Oh, Lord. Don't do that.
Okay. I see the link that C-Dog has sent. All right, you won't be able to see it, but I'll play the video. Hold on. I need to cut the sound here. It's giving me some whiskey commercial. Hopefully this doesn't get my stream taken down, but we're gonna do it anyway.
Because that's
back from the Georgia Tech game Friday night when they passed the burning car on I-85 southbound near here in downtown Atlanta, and their family recorded the whole thing on a phone.
We was on 85. We just seen a car burning in the middle of the road, and
Antonio Jackson
sounds like
says
Atlanta.
when he and his son saw the burning car,
oh my God,
they stopped to check and make sure no one was inside.
And just to show it was a woman in the car, in the driver's seat, and as it was burning, she was screaming for help.
My first instinct was to get her out of that car by any means necessary.
His son Devin Jackson says even as other bystanders seemed to act like it was hopeless, they weren't going to let her die in there.
They literally shake their head and walk off like they just gave up on her. And I was like, yo.
So this guy sent you a link of a video about a woman burning alive in a car?
What the crap?
Yeah, that's the video. These guys are talking about a woman burning alive in her car. What is wrong with this guy? Like, I can't even watch the rest of that.
Morbid.
Yeah, that's pretty messed up. I don't really know what to say about that. For once in my life, in both our lives, Slim and I are at a loss for words. So what fan base is this guy a part of? Yeah, like this is like the start of a Saw movie or Final Destination or something. Like, should we be worried? C-Dog, you need to come in and explain this.
Yeah, we need some explanation of this, C-Dog. But while we wait on him, the overall point I was making is, like, I'm sure everybody remembers the guy that went viral for getting a tattoo of Josh Heupel with the cigar in his mouth, the Tennessee fan.
Yeah.
And they're regretting that something serious right now.
Oh, real quick. I guess the guy posted the video saying he was the guy that saved this lady. Okay, I guess I should have watched the whole video. So just to set the record straight, this was not what we thought it was. I guess this guy commented saying he saved a lady from a burning car.
Whew. Well, congratulations. I give him the key to the city. He deserves it.
All right, hold on. I feel like I've boggled this up something serious.
Most people have no clue that in 20...
Let me go back to the video. I'll play the rest of it.
They were just coming back from the...
Walk off like they just gave up on her. And I was like, yo, I'm not giving up on her. I'm going to get her out by any means necessary.
It wasn't easy.
Me and my son, we did the best we could. We had to pry the door open. It was hard to get open. We were cutting ourselves on the door, and it was just too much.
Jeez.
And it was like 1,000 degrees. It was very hot.
but they succeeded and got her out.
They got him out. They got him out.
Atlanta police confirmed the woman in the car was transported to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries, thanks in large part
I think it's
to
funny
Antonio
that you
and
thought.
Devin. We asked both of them why they would risk their own lives to help this woman.
I could see my daughter, my wife, or my mom, and I say, I would want somebody to help them too. I couldn't face myself in the mirror, just letting that go like a lot of people was doing.
I'm a firm believer in God, and I feel like I was put on this earth to help others.
And we're still working to get more details from Atlanta Police and Atlanta Fire and Rescue about how this car fire started in the first place. Reporting from Atlanta, Eric Mock.
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry. I legitimately thought, because of all of the crap that we've been catching lately, that someone commented this, like saying this is what's going to happen to you. That's what I thought.
I mean, this is the internet. You can't be too careful.
No, especially
That's funny that misunderstanding happened. That's
good.
funny. But no, that guy said he is a diehard Tech fan, and him and his son, it was the first Tech game they had ever been to because they lived so far away, and then they were on their way home and saved that lady from the burning car, and then Tech like hooked him up with like seats in the VIP section of the Bowling Green game. Poor guy. And so, but they hooked him up with VIP seats for that. So, and then he was saying that he wanted to see me and you, and I just thought it was cool.
Oh yeah, well I don't know if he wants to see me anymore after I completely messed that up, but what a godsend that guy is! Like that's amazing that they got this woman out of the car. Yeah, we'll see.
The guy goes from Jigsaw to a fucking hero in WreckTalk's interpretation.
Well,
I thought it was cool that he commented on our video and wanted to see it. I told him next time he's in town to hit us up.
Yeah, for sure. Like I owe that guy a beer or a dinner or something after what I just did. Yeah, you come to Atlanta, I'll take you, wherever you want to go. I'll buy you dinner.
Yeah.
But just make sure it's next season because old Sea-Dog and Wreck are fixing to be a little lighter on funds.
Yeah. We'll talk about that tomorrow night. I'm going to bed. Good night.
Good night.
I couldn't not get any shot in.
Yeah,
I've been nice.
I'm gonna have to work some long nights now. Make this bet right. Jeff Collins, I see in the background, but you've already called in, so I'm gonna let them pile on. Let me switch screens again. I see Bulldog Brian in the background. Sea-Dog's gonna leave me alone to deal with all these guys.
Now that's kind of dirty, man. You should diss Sea-Dog for that. Leaving you hanging out to dry by yourself.
What's going on, Bulldog Brian?
Not much, man. I trolled you enough yesterday in the comment section. I do feel bad for, having to lose to a group of 5 team. I couldn't imagine what that's like.
Well, I mean, we already talked about you losing to Vanderbilt when in Kirby.
Well, that's because you're so young, Brian. I've seen Georgia lose a group of 5 teams.
I mean, I haven't seen them lose to a group of 5 team in almost 30 years, so.
Are you 30?
29.
Did y'all lose to Boise State under Rick? I know if you didn't lose to
them.
Yeah, we lost to them in the Power Rangers uniforms.
Yeah. Okay. That's the last time I can remember.
Yeah.
You would have to go probably somewhere to the late 80s or in the 90s.
I think the early 90s was the last time before Boise State, if I'm not mistaken, like 90 or 91, something like that.
Now, I would like to point out that they are winless all time against Holy Cross.
I know.
That's what we need to focus on.
They have your number. Holy Cross has 0-3 all time.
When was the last game played? Like back in 1922?
No, it's been after that.
Back in the Dust Bowl.
Listen, as fun as that is to make fun of, like everybody's got those. Like Alabama's 0-3 or 0-4 all time against Rice.
And I think they're winless against Harvard as well.
They might be. We were talking about Middle Tennessee earlier. Miami's
Yeah.
played Middle Tennessee 3 times all time, and they're winless against them.
Yeah, don't talk to Tennessee fans about any of the lesser schools from Tennessee. They like to lose to them every chance they get.
Oh man.
Well,
Yeah.
I'll give Tennessee this much. They've only ever lost to Memphis once, but it was Peyton Manning that lost to Memphis.
Now that is comedy gold.
Dang. Nerdstop says Power Rangers. Can we all admit that the Power Rangers theme song was fantastic? The OG one.
It was.
Do y'all not remember the Power Rangers uniforms?
No, who wore them? You talking about Boise State?
No, I'm talking about Georgia's. They were ugly as hell.
Let me see if I can find a picture.
It's from 2010 or something like that. 2000. I can't remember. It's like right at the cusp of like 2009 and 2010. It's one of the two.
They're Power Rangers uniforms. Hold on.
First game of the season, and it was in Atlanta. That was when we had Isaiah Crowell.
You talking about the silver helmet ones?
Yeah, the silver helmet with the red on it and stuff. Yeah, like a Power Ranger uniform.
Oh yeah, hold on. Y'all wore it against Boise State. Let me
Yep.
see. We gotta show the people. So 2011,
Oh, yeah.
Georgia, Boise.
Well, that's actually Georgia's old school color scheme back before they were even the Bulldogs.
What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
but back then they had it looking better than what they had in that game.
Listen, everybody's got some stinkers. It happens to everybody.
Yeah, just either keep it red and silver breeches or all black.
Or
There's one
red and
two.
silver bitches. I mean, that's also.
Yeah, that too. That too.
Like me and Pete were talking about this the other day. Like Miami's doing a blackout for this Georgia Tech game, and like under Adidas, they've done 4 different blackouts. I'm kind of over it at this point. I'd like to see them do some throwbacks like to Miami's old, because they haven't done it since 2005. Go back to the green and gold color scheme.
When's Georgia Tech gonna wear those hexagon helmets again?
I don't know, man.
Dude, I low key like those for real.
Yeah, the honeycomb helmets did look nice. I
Those,
can't lie.
in NCAA 14, whenever I had a big game, those were the helmets we were wearing, by God. I can tell you that. So I don't know if you guys can see it because you're on StreamYard, but I'll show the people. So yeah,
I'm savvy enough. I have 2 tabs open.
It's like, it looks like Fresno State more than a Georgia uniform. Like they're all red with the silver sides.
I never thought about that. That's a good point.
Yeah, like just because it's all red. I mean, Boise State was ranked 5th.
Yeah, that's when Boise was in the middle of their run. I think that was right after Boise beat Oklahoma in the Orange Bowl.
And what's crazy is Georgia was still favored in this game by like 2 scores.
Oh my goodness. And
Yeah.
I apologize to the audience. This game is so old; it's like in 140p, so it's kind of hard to see. But yeah, those
This is
are
when
no good.
This is when only like 3 channels had high definition.
Now, this does beg the question, Rick. Like, people talk about the academics at Georgia Tech all the time. Nobody thought it a bad idea to wear blackouts for a 3:30 game?
Man, I went over this. That's one of the first things I said. Everyone was hyped about those uniforms, and I was like, first of all, they look like the Saints uniforms. Second of all, it's 3:30 to wear to do black jerseys. Third of all, the numbers glow in the dark. And so I said, I guess, if there's a solar eclipse at halftime when the players come out, we'll be able to see what number they are. But other than that, I don't really know the point in any of this.
Well, I mean, they were just wearing black to their own funeral,
Maybe that was it. Yeah, it looks worse when you get beat by Boise State and these. And by the way, you guys aren't Tech fans, so you don't know like about the Black Watch defense. Like, the Georgia Tech used to have this Black Watch defense, and every guy that was like a a grown-ass man on defense, wood layer, had this black stripe that went down the middle of their helmet. And that's kind of what it pays homage to. So we do this, and then we give up 438 yards to Bowling Green. So, I mean, it's just all around complete nonsense. And
it's funny. It's funny because we got beat up by Boise State that year, but we still beat Tech.
Well, probably because we played in Atlanta.
Y'all went 8-5. Yeah, y'all went 8-5 that year, by the way. If I'm not mistaken, 2011. Yeah.
Well, we can't beat y'all in Atlanta for some reason. I don't imagine that's now going to change this year.
That's just University of Georgia West.
Hey.
It's just for some reason they put a giant B in the middle. I don't know why. I don't get it.
Well, if by B you mean a GT, then yeah, I don't think we've ever had a B. And maybe that's what we should do. Maybe that makes the difference. We put a big B in a yellow jacket for our logo.
Put Buzz in there.
So Ramblin' Rick says those old UGAG uniforms are almost as bad as the Steelers prisons uniforms. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
What is with the Steelers like prison uniforms, by the way? Like who thought
those are like 1940s or 30s Steelers uniforms. God only knows what people were thinking back then.
It's because most of them had to get brought out of the penitentiary to come play.
Oh, it was like that movie. What was that movie with
Longest Yard?
Yeah, it was
Longest Yard. Yeah.
I never saw it, but
well, you never saw the original or the remake?
The remake.
Okay.
I kind of avoid modern Adam Sandler movies.
That was still on the cusp of Adam Sandler. Like that was before Netflix. Adam Sandler.
Yeah, Adam Sandler used to be so good, man. What happened?
Hey, that Jeweler movie was pretty good. I can't lie.
Yeah, but then you've got like Jack and Jill or whatever the hell that was.
Yeah.
And yeah. He tried to do a serious movie too that I think was bad. Every comedic actor that tries to do a serious movie that isn't Steve Carell, it has not worked out well.
No, that Jim Carrey movie was pretty good.
No, 23.
You didn't like it? Yeah, you didn't like it?
3. Everything's
you
23.
Didn't like it?
No, it was stupid.
I guess it's because I watched it when I was young. A little.
I mean, here's a hot take. There's like 3 movies with Jim Carrey in it that I can even stand to watch.
What 3 are they?
Me, Myself, and Irene is good.
That's an underrated movie, and
that is a great movie.
Yeah. No, I don't think they could have picked anybody better to play the Riddler. In my opinion.
Okay, if your third one isn't Ace Ventura, then I don't know it.
It's probably not.
No, my third one is Ace Ventura.
Okay.
Okay.
I am the Batman. Yeah, he was good.
Jim Carrey's shtick just started to wear thin. Kind of like Will Ferrell. Like both of them just do the same thing over and over again.
Will Ferrell's only funny with a supporting cast.
Yeah.
Well,
like
I'll say this, and it was really a good mix of serious and comedy. One of my favorite movies of all time is The Truman Show.
It's a great movie. That is a great movie.
They just keep going round and round. The bike, the Volkswagen. And they're like doing advertisements while they're talking to him. He's like, who the hell are you talking to? It's just us.
Like, the one exception to comedians doing serious movies is obviously got to be Robin Williams.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Like Good Will Hunting was good.
Yep.
There's a lot. Oh, God. What was that one? He played a serial killer in that movie.
It was like something picture or something like...
Something like that. Yeah, I'm drawing a blank at the moment.
Seminole says Bruce Almighty. Bruce Almighty was okay. Oh, The Mask was kind of good for what it was.
Not gonna lie, I let the kids watch that probably 6 months ago, and that movie is 1,000 times worse than I remember it being.
Yeah, I think because Slim and I are around the same age, like I have rewatched some movies too that I'm like, I watched this about 1,000 times as a kid and loved it, and I don't know what I was thinking.
Oh yeah, and another one that fits that bill to a T is the original Ninja Turtles movies.
Whoa, whoa.
1 hour
Like
photo
those are
was the
1 hour photo. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, Coffee Killer coming through with the save.
Yeah. Like I said, Robert Williams could definitely pull off serious, but I think he was just that good of an actor.
And damn Disney for what they did to him with the genie. There's only one genie of Aladdin. And by the way, I don't know if you know the backstory of that. Like when he agreed to do Aladdin, they totally screwed him. Like
I've heard that story.
He was the only one that could be the genie, and he didn't want his likeness used in promotional for the movie because he had another movie he wanted to promote, and they were like, "Yeah, we're not doing that. We'll agree to do it, but we're not gonna follow through." And then you have Will Ferrell.
You don't like Jada Pinkett's husband as the genie?
No, I don't. Well, and it's not even that, but all these live action Disney movies that no one wanted, like The Lion King too, like these are all iconic of my upbringing movies. Why do we need live action versions?
I mean, they might as well just go.
If it makes you feel better that apparently that lead actress for Snow White is so unlikable that they're canceling the movie.
They're not doing it anymore?
Like the movie's been made and they're canceling it.
That is hilarious.
Disney is canceling themselves? That's surprising.
Well, apparently, like I haven't kept up with it, but like there's one guy I'm subscribed to. He does like movie reviews and stuff. Apparently, she stuck her foot in her mouth so many times that Disney just maybe finding it prudent to cancel the movie.
I do think it's funny that anyone would care what like an actor or actress thinks about anything, because like a lot of them have like all of these like the environment or whatever issue. Even like athletes, it's like that's not why I watch you.
Yeah, right.
Didn't Dave Chappelle make a joke about that?
Well, Dave Chappelle's great. Yeah, he probably did.
Yeah. He did. He was talking about like fires or something going on, and he was like, "Ja Rule, what do you think?"
Oh, that was old school Dave Chappelle. He's like, I don't care what these people think. Like 9/11 happens, I'm not walking around my place saying, "Oh my God, this is terrible." Ja Rule, someone get this dude on the phone. Make sense of all this. Yeah, that's not what we do.
Like these are not, for the most part. Like obviously there are exceptions, but these are not the best and brightest amongst us.
No.
I want to watch you like Leonardo DiCaprio. I want to watch you in The Departed. Aside from that, I'm not really concerned.
Hot take, he's not that good of an actor.
What?
He's not that good of an actor.
So who's on your Mount Rushmore? I know we veered from college football talk, but you know what? I've talked enough about what's happened, and I need to talk about something else. Who's on your Mount Rushmore of actors/actresses?
Ooh. Well, Al Pacino has to be on everybody's.
We've made fun of Will Ferrell for doing the same stick over and over again, and that's all Al Pacino is, the same character in every movie. But go ahead.
Well, he's kind of himself, though. He's just been a part of. He's been a part of so many iconic movies, from The Godfather to Heat was an amazing movie. Scarface, obviously. And then one I think is actually really underrated. I mean, people talk about like him and De Niro were both in Heat, but there's only one scene when they're in it together. A Righteous Kill is an amazing movie.
I don't think I've seen A Righteous Kill.
That's a good movie. Add it to your watch list.
Okay.
Denzel, I gotta throw. I'll watch pretty much anything with Denzel in it.
Denzel's
don't
great.
Tell BA that.
So both of these, she doesn't like Denzel Washington?
No.
What?
Yeah. What do you mean? What? Slim, you've been on call with her many times when she said she doesn't really care for Denzel Washington.
Oh no, BA. Yeah, or not BA, but who was it that said that?
BA. That was BA.
Now hold on.
No,
You telling me she don't like Denzel?
No, she didn't like Training Day.
Well, that's because Denzel, that was like his first or he wasn't even an anti-hero, but just villain role. That was a good movie, though, I thought.
It was a great movie. Yeah, she likes Denzel. She just didn't like Training Day. I thought Training Day was some of his best work.
It's a masterpiece.
That guy did have a bad day he was training, though. That was not.
Oh, yeah.
That was not a good day for him.
Well, no, the ultimate movie, and I think completely underrated for a little segue, talking about a bad day, is Falling Down with Michael Douglas.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I kind of thought about that after the Bowling Green loss. Like, is this the path I take?
Like, that's the movie anybody and everybody should be able to relate to.
Yeah, just a guy that says, you know what, F it. I'm gonna respond in anger and how I would like to respond.
Yeah, you just the day you wake up and choose violence.
Damn, what was the name of that movie with Denzel Washington in it, where his son got sick and he basically...
John Q, yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so I've got Pacino, I've got Denzel.
Also, Equalizer. All those movies I think are good.
Man on
Fire. I haven't
Fire.
seen the third one yet.
I hadn't either, but I do. It's just a simple story of like the guy that puts aside what he promised his wife to make things right with another.
Mm-hmm.
I think another one I have to put on there, and this may be recency bias, but I've grown up pretty much watching everything with him in it. And also, from everything I hear, he's just like the coolest dude ever, is Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, he is the most down to earth dude. He literally takes public transportation like an average person.
Yeah, he lives a more humble life than me, and he's a multi-millionaire and one of the biggest film franchises that's ever been made.
A couple of the biggest film franchises that have ever been made.
John Wick, Matrix, Bill and Ted's.
Yep. Man, the Matrix. You know that Sea-Dog has never seen any of the Matrix movies?
Jesus Christ.
Wow. What is he doing? Oh, yeah, making dumb bets that Georgia Tech's going to win more than 6 games.
No.
Now, the fourth one I have to go with, and I'll admit this is a homer pick, graduate of the University of Miami, the Italian stallion himself, baby.
He graduated from Miami?
Yes, he did.
That explains why he had to make a porno to fund Rocky.
Hey, but he wrote and directed those movies himself.
Well, look,
Adrian.
The first Rocky is one of the greatest movies of all time. I will admit that. But to have Sylvester Stallone on your Mount Rushmore, and you did admit that it's a homer pick.
It's a homer pick, but I'll also admit too, like I have, and this doesn't just go for Stallone. I've got I love like 80s action cheese. So I mean that encompasses Schwarzenegger and Chuck Norris and Van Damme.
So on my Mount Rushmore, I'll go from number 1. Number 1, hands down, is Daniel Day-Lewis. And no one will ever convince me of any different.
Ooh. I watched a movie with him in it last night.
Which one?
Gangs of New York.
Dude, Bill the Butcher might be the greatest villain in film history. Bill the Butcher is so good.
And movies like that are why DiCaprio is great in movies with a supporting cast. You look at that, you look at The Quick and the Dead. He to me does not stand up by himself.
Yeah, I could maybe see that. Daniel Day-Lewis definitely stands up by himself. If you've never seen There Will Be Blood, I've abandoned my son. Absolutely great movie. Even going back to The Crucible, which all of you should have read in school when you talked about the Red Scare in the 50s and communism. The Crucible was great. Christian Bale has got to be number 2.
Okay.
The another one of my favorite movies, The Prestige, I thought was really good, with one of the greatest twists in cinema, in my opinion. But he's done a lot of different stuff.
He has. The only downside to me with Christian Bale is, and obviously everybody knows this, he's just a fucking prick.
I think you're referencing what I played tonight, though. Oh, good for you. And how was it? Is that what makes you think?
Like, no, it was one of the damn Terminator movies where he just got
Yeah.
caught, got recorded by somebody just being a fucking asshole.
Yeah, but I kind of feel like if we're not going to care what they say, then I don't really care about that either. You know?
Right, I get it. I'm not. That doesn't take anything away from his acting ability. Now, this is an unpopular opinion. The Dark Knight trilogy is a shit sandwich.
I think if you take away the one with Heath Ledger,
the second one,
yeah, you could, the second one, you could say that.
That's the only good one.
And that one's good because of Heath Ledger. So,
it has. By the way, it has nothing to do with Christian Bale. It's just like the story. I don't think Batman Begins is a very good story at all. And then The Dark Knight Returns is even fucking worse. Like, oh, you got 6 months until this fucking atomic bomb goes off. Have a good one.
Well, I'll tell you this: the dumbest
what
thing.
The fuck?
The dumbest thing about that is his bat voice. I'm here to bring back justice. And it's like, Bruce, Bruce, is that you, man? What are you doing?
Listen, Michael Keaton is Batman, but Val Kilmer's face fit the costume the best. I'll give him that.
Now, I will agree with you here that the Keaton Batmans are way better. Way, way better. And you could even... It's a preference thing with the Joker, but Jack Nicklaus's Joker was fantastic as well.
It was,
excellent.
No doubt. Now, here's a question. Does that have to do with Michael Keaton, or does that have to do with Tim Burton? Because those are the best. Because Tim Burton's great.
That's true. All right, I'm ready for number 3, and I'm going to go way back. James Stewart.
Uh-oh. Wow.
A Wonderful Life is one of my favorite movies of all time as well.
Great movie, no doubt.
And he also rose to like the rank of general, joined the military afterward. Like a lot of cool things with him. Number 4, Gene Hackman.
Okay.
Gene Hackman. Yeah, I mentioned The Quick and the Dead earlier. Gene Hackman.
Him in Mississippi Burning is also one of my favorite movies. Him and William Dafoe. When William Dafoe slaps the ever-loving shit out of him, and he's like, "Man,
Willem,
do you think he would have killed me?" He's like, "Yeah, I do."
Now that actually brings up a point. If I were to throw an honorable mention 5th in there, it'd be Clint Eastwood, because I just love westerns.
I think you got to put Clint Eastwood on there, not just because you love westerns, but his entire body of work, like even into his like 70s and 80s, is great. Like,
God, you got me rethinking it now. I don't have fucking Clint Eastwood on there, and I love Eastwood. I do.
Trouble with the Curve,
say that
Gran Torino.
I did say that. Yeah, I did say that Stallone was kind of
The Mule.
Pick, though. Dude, The Mule is great. I love that.
The Mule is excellent.
I need to go see it.
You still haven't seen The Mule?
No, I haven't.
That's awesome.
What are you doing?
Now, for number 5, I don't know how many people are on Mount Rushmore. I'm not American.
4.
There's 4. There's got to be a 5th, though. We're going to go top
an honorable
5.
mention.
Marlon Brando. You talked about The
Okay.
Godfather.
Wow.
I think Marlon Brando is really good. This is tough, though, because like I really like Samuel L. Jackson, too. And honestly, recently, speaking of Tarantino, that guy, Christopher Waltz, the guy that was the villain in Inglourious Bastards, that dude is amazing.
Yeah,
he is.
Like, I got burnt out on Samuel L. Jackson because he just had like a 10-year stretch where that motherfucker was in everything.
Yeah, he was.
Most of it was Marvel.
What? No, this was even before Marvel. Like,
you're talking about, okay.
From the late 90s to the mid 2000s, Samuel L. Jackson did so much shit. It was ridiculous.
You can honestly thank Pulp Fiction for that.
Do you remember that interview he was giving where they were like, are you they basically confused him with Lawrence Fishburne. They're like, "Are you the Credit One guy or something?" And he's
Yes.
like, "I am not Lawrence Fishburne, man. I know you think we all look alike, but we don't." Like, first of all, Samuel L. Jackson's one of the most recognizable people ever. I don't know how he could ever be confused with Lawrence Fishburne, who's kind of overweight.
I'm not Lawrence Fishburne, motherfucker.
He's overweight now that he's older, but Lawrence Fishburne's like always been a big guy.
Yeah.
Like that. He just really like, because Lawrence Fishburne's like 6'3", 6'4". Like, that's not a dude you want to come across in a dark alley.
Let me see how big Lawrence Fishburne is.
And their voices sound completely different too. Like their voice isn't even close to being the same.
Actually, I'm taller than Lawrence Fishburne. He's 6 foot even. He looks bigger than that.
Is he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he does look bigger than that.
Jesus.
I figured he was taller than me.
Keanu Reeves is 6'1". Now, I have gone down that rabbit hole of, like, the tallest actors. Obviously, Vince Vaughn is, like, 6'5". The guy from...
I love Vince Vaughn.
Yeah, he's good. The dude that was... not Tony... Is it Tony Robbins? That was in Shawshank Redemption. He's also, like, 6'5".
Tim Robbins.
Yeah, Tony Robbins is that stupid motivational speaker. And let me just give a disclaimer.
Robert Downey Jr.
For anyone that buys into this, like, self-help, or if you just have the right mindset, you'll become a millionaire, and you buy these people's courses, save yourself some money. That's complete nonsense. If you think you will get it. Why are there starving kids in Africa? They don't have the right mindset.
They're not thinking hard enough.
I'll completely admit to this. I was like 22 when I realized Tim Robbins was in Top Gun.
You know, he was really young. I had to think a second.
He was young.
Yeah, because even like Bill Durham, wasn't that around the same time?
Bull Durham,
Bull Durham, I mean. Yeah. He was like a lanky guy.
Tim Robbins didn't have like a big role in Top Gun either, but...
Ooh, T-Lo with a great comment. I would have to switch someone for Robert Downey, because I also think Robert Downey's great. The Judge, if you haven't seen it.
That's a great movie.
I can't watch it with anyone because I'll cry at the end. I can't even quote it or I'll cry. Okay? That's how soft I can be sometimes, but The Judge is a fantastic movie. And a great story.
I've noticed neither one of us had Tom Hanks up there, which I find a little surprising.
I'm not. Look. So, I love Castaway. I've never felt so bad for a guy as when he left that damn volleyball in the ocean.
Wilson!
Talk about bad days. I mean, I've literally never felt so bad. I might have cried when he lost that volleyball. I was young when I watched that movie. But
hey, I'll admit to it. I was 6 years old, watched Lion King in movie theaters, and I cried when Mufasa died.
Well, yeah, man, that's his dad.
Understandable.
And that's James Earl Jones, too. Like, you throw some tears when James Earl Jones goes down. But, yeah, Robert Downey's great. You go from... I forget the name of the movie where he basically plays a drug addict in his youth, which is basically just him playing himself.
Yeah. At that point in time, yeah.
I don't think
Go ahead. I was going to say, ever since I saw Robert Downey Jr. play Tony Stark, I want to see him and Hugh Laurie in something together.
Oh, just like really arrogant American accented guys.
Well, I mean, I think they could play well off of each other. And with that being said, they are doing a third Sherlock Holmes, and I will go to the movie theaters to see that because those movies are fucking awesome.
And the end of one of them was them playing chess, which I think Gary Kasparov, which if you're not some kind of chess nerd like me that also sucks at chess, Gary Kasparov was probably everyone would probably consider him the greatest player of all time. But actually, the chess game that they play, he contributed to, I think, and the chess game makes sense, which unlike the one, I think, in Harry Potter, which doesn't. The moves don't necessarily make sense. Like, if you're going to do chess, like, you at least got to make sure
Look, man, it's wizard chess, all right?
Yeah, but at the same time, it was like two 11-year-olds playing chess as well. So I mean, what kind of standard are you trying to hold?
You know, I take that back. I think that game does make sense, but they didn't. Harry couldn't be sacrificed. Like, you couldn't sacrifice the piece he was using because he had to move on.
Yeah.
So I actually think that it did make sense.
Yeah, you can't kill off the protagonist.
Man, I gotta figure out the movie that Robert Downey was in that I'm thinking about. Anyways, was it?
Yeah, like I'm not familiar with a lot of his stuff when he was younger.
I'm just saying I can't think of a better redemption story for an actor or actress. Like, usually when people get in the thralls of their addiction, that's kind of a wrap. Like, look at Tom Sizemore. I love Tom Sizemore too. Like, I loved him in Black Hawk Down and a bunch of other stuff. I think he died 2 years ago. Once you make it to celebrity rehab with Dr. Drew, that's kind of a wrap for your career, isn't it?
well, look, I mean, you have some people like Drew Barrymore kicked it before Dr. Drew came around.
I'm just saying you can't make it to Dr. Drew. That's when you know it's over.
Yeah, look at Bam Margera.
Oh God, I mean, it. There's not really a shock factor there, though. I mean, it's kind of duh.
Yeah.
Especially when you look at the fact, like, that dude, like, his parents let him get away with murder since he was a kid.
Who?
Bam Margera.
Oh, yeah. And I don't know exactly what happened with that. By the way, before I even address that, did you know that Steve-O grew up extraordinarily wealthy?
No, I didn't.
No, I didn't.
I was listening to an interview. Like, his dad was like the ambassador or something, and he went to these super ritzy schools. In fact, he said he would make his dad drop him off because they had a chauffeur drive him in a limo, and he was like embarrassed of their wealth or something. But speaking of Bam, I don't know what happened with the jackass, the most recent one. He was saying he got hosed, but it's kind of hard to believe. Like, I hate to say, it's kind of hard to believe an addict when they're talking about
he had a contract clause, and he broke the contract clause. The contract clause was that he was supposed to stay sober the entire time of the filming of the movie, and he said, fuck that, I'm gonna go drink, I'm gonna go get fucked up. And so they said, yeah, go fuck yourself. And so he got offended by that, even though he couldn't contain himself. So
okay, makes sense. Yep.
Yeah, and like he went as far as like leaving death threats to the director Jeff Tremaine in Knoxville, and they both had to get restraining orders against him.
Yeah, like it crippled him and Steve-O's relationship pretty bad.
Well, that's another
Steve-O
redemption
still
story.
even tried after that, because I watched like a hour-and-a-half long documentary about Bam, because I have nothing better to do during my day, so I just listen to crap on YouTube.
That's what I do.
But like
And that's why
Steve-O
we're here.
tried the longest, and like even Steve-O's gotten to the point where he's just like, "Fuck it, I give up."
Hey, look, if Steve-O can get clean, anybody can get clean.
And I think he has
Right.
like long-term sobriety. Like, I think he's been sober for like a decade or longer at this
Yep,
point.
he's been
Since the third movie, or
Mhm.
right before the third movie. Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't. If any of y'all have ever seen any of the Steve-O documentaries, like when they went into his apartment, it was just you had to create a trail walking through nitrous bottles. Like it was like that is not an exaggeration. Like he had boxes and boxes, and they were just all over the freaking place.
Dang, dude. Yeah, you're right. If Steve-O can do it. By the way, the movie that I'm thinking of is Less Than Zero with Robert Downey Jr., 1985. So,
wow.
So
yeah, see, Robert Downey Jr.'s younger stuff I'm not as familiar with.
Yeah, he was. I mean, God, he had to be like 20 or something in that movie. And
Now,
he
here's
was
a question.
Yeah.
Somebody that's been around that long, where does Johnny Depp fall on that list? Because he's done some pretty great shit over, like, some people just point to
Pirates.
I'm not talking about like Pirates of the Caribbean. I'm talking like Blow is a great movie. Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas is a great movie.
Excellent movie. That's a cult classic.
He was in. He was with the one you don't like in What's Eating Gilbert Grape.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I think DiCaprio's fine as long as he's got people around him.
Fucking
I
half
don't
a
think
mo.
he can carry a movie by himself. Is my point with DiCaprio.
Yeah, I don't know. It's tough to say with who were we talking about? What was his name again? The Pirates of the Caribbean guy?
Johnny Depp.
Because a lot of the attention recently has been his poor choice of woman.
Amber Heard's punching bag.
That was bizarre, dude. She cut that dude's pinky off and pooped
And
in his
she shit
pillow.
on his bed. Yeah,
Wait a
she
minute.
shit
Wait
on
a
his
minute.
bed.
Wait a minute. She shit in his bed and
Yep.
cutting off his pinky is the weird part.
Well, I mean, poop will wipe off, but it's kind of hard to sew my own pinky back on.
My favorite part about that whole thing was when they showed the video of him putting on that red wig that she wore for the Aquaman thing, and he was like, Aquaman.
Dude.
That's my favorite part about the whole
I mean, here's the thing. Of course, she did him wrong. But here's a lesson to every man. You got to choose wisely. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
And he chose her. He's also, horrible with money. So I think I saw he spent $100,000 a month on wine. Or just silly things.
Well, yeah, he's had drinking problems for years, though. I mean, which by comparison to a lot of people's not bad, but
right.
Yeah, yeah. What else was he in that's been really good? What was the gangster movie he was in?
oh, dude, one of the greatest mob movies ever made, Donnie Brasco.
There you go. I agree with that.
I love that movie.
That's with Robert De Niro, right?
No, that is with Pacino.
Is that Pacino? Okay. It's been a
That
while
is
since I've seen
Pacino.
some of these. I'm thinking of
Wait.
Casino and Goodfellas and
Yeah,
stuff,
now,
I guess.
Oh yeah, those are. Dude, you want to talk about somebody that does one character? Has Joe Pesci done anything other than one character?
He got wrapped up with a girl that killed someone, I think, too. He's gotten... I don't know. He also released a rap album called Wise Guys. I think that was horrible.
That was amazing.
Have y'all ever seen Donnie Darko?
No.
Yes, and
You've never
I'm
seen
willing
Donnie-
to bet. I'm willing to bet the director of that movie can't even tell you what the fuck it's about.
Quentin
I
Tarantino?
think No, that's not Tarantino. That's Robert
That's not?
Rodriguez.
Oh, yeah, you're right. My fault.
But I think he just shot a bunch of shit and threw it in the air and taped it back together and said, "Here you go."
And it came out perfectly.
That's like the second half of Full Metal Jacket. They just had some extra film, and I decided they needed to do something with it. But it is.
Speaking of people with drug habits, where does Charlie Sheen fall on this list?
Oh, he's
Charlie Sheen's the
way
greatest
down.
ever.
Way down. Way
Charlie
at the
Sheen
bottom.
is the
You
greatest.
don't like Charlie
ever.
Sheen? Charlie Sheen's fucking awesome.
So what was he in? He was in that Platoon, and then what
he
else?
was in Platoon, Navy SEALs.
Oh, the baseball movie was really good though. Wild Thing
Yeah.
or whatever,
Yeah.
whatever it was called.
Major League.
Major
Major
League
League,
was
yeah.
fantastic.
Two and a Half
the
Men
first
was a
two.
great TV show too.
Men. I tell you now,
Men.
Why was? And I've always wanted to see him, especially after Young Guns. I wanted to see Charlie Sheen and Emilio Estevez do a movie together, and they never did.
I will say this: if you're going to just burn your life to the ground and totally implode, that would be the roadmap.
Or you could just go the James Baldwin maneuver.
Is he the one that called his daughter a little pig on the phone and it
Yeah.
got released?
Yes.
Shut up, you little pig. It's like, dang, dude.
Well, there's
Yes.
so many Baldwins, I can't keep up with them.
Well, I'm talking about the Baldwin that shot the girl in the face.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, by the way, Rec, I'm going to send you a link to a video. The guy that does movie reviews, he's actually really funny. But, you were hyping up Marlon Brando.
Mhm.
If you get into the backstory of that movie, The Island of Dr. Moreau, it'll destroy your image of Marlon Brando.
Was he a bad person?
Have you ever seen that movie?
No.
Okay, well, throughout the movie, Marlon Brando has a bucket on his head because Marlon Brando was such an asshole that he just wouldn't take the fucking bucket off of his head.
Now, I do know that Marlon Brando is one of the most difficult people anyone has ever had to work with.
Yes, like, and like that movie had the two most difficult people ever to work with. It had Marlon Brando and Val Kilmer.
Oh God!
Now Val shouldn't be on here, but I will say his portrayal of Doc Holliday, who's from Griffin, Georgia, or was born in Griffin, Georgia. Doc Holliday was really good, fantastic. But it is getting.
You want a hot take?
Go ahead.
Oh, okay, go ahead. No, I was just gonna say, quick hot take because you brought that up. Other than Val Kilmer, the rest of that movie is fucking terrible. You stick him in the Kevin Costner Wyatt Earp movie, and it's probably the greatest movie ever made.
Yeah, I will say the whole, and that's kind of the same as The Dark Knight, like without the Joker, Heath Ledger's Joker. That movie's not like he makes the whole movie. Val Kilmer makes that whole movie.
You know what really killed you know what really killed the whole Dark Knight series? For me, it was the pacing of it all. Like one movie was really slow, one movie was really good pacing, and then the third one was just bleh.
Well,
like somebody
if Christopher Nolan is as good as people make him out to be, he should have rewrote those shitty stories for the first one and the last one.
Well, also you've got to understand Bane. Bane, like the original Bane, was like this Mexican wrestler type thing that would get pumped up with this like fluid or whatever. Tom
Average
Hardy's like
gym goer.
5'7" or 5'8". Like Tom Hardy had to wear platform shoes to look bigger. Now he did bulk up for that, but oh, by the way, I just heard this.
That gear, man.
Like taking a 180. The Navy is now banning the use of PEDs, which I think is silly. Like, who cares if Navy SEALs are roided up?
Well, most of them aren't though. Like if I'm subscribed to a guy.
Is it Angry Cops?
No.
Okay.
I'm subscribed
That dude's
to a
hilarious.
guy simply for his story. He's got a playlist on his channel called Storytime, and he'll have like Marcus Luttrell and other guys that were Navy SEALs. Like I like listening to the fucking stories. They get around a campfire and just start telling stories.
I do like watching
but
that
like
too.
none of them are big guys at all. Like except for Marcus Luttrell, but him and his brother are just big dudes. Period. Like all of them are just little wiry dudes.
Yeah, you know, my dad was in the military, and he was telling me, like, the guys that you would think would be these beasts in the military aren't. He said the toughest sons of guns that I was ever around in the military, like one of them was his DI, was this little, I'm talking about like 5'6", little wiry Hispanic dude. He was like, that was the toughest dude that I was ever around. And all the guys that did well usually were like that. But.
Well, like David Goggins is not a big dude, and that dude went through SEAL training 3 times.
Who's that? Is it Dan Blazarian? You know what I'm talking about? That guy that said washed
I know
out.
exactly what you're talking about.
That created that fraud company and tells all these bogus stories about he made a weed company, I think, right?
I think you're right, yeah.
But I do have to get to bed, guys. I appreciate y'all coming on. I don't know how we got here, but
hey,
this is what I needed. I actually should thank you guys. I needed this to get my mind off of what happened Saturday. So, Slim Shaky, appreciate you coming on. Any last words?
Well, get ready for more pain this weekend.
Oh, Jesus. All right. Appreciate it, Slim. Bulldog Brian.
Good luck to your Jackets this week. I'd love for y'all to win just so I could troll Slim and go Dogs.
Well, I appreciate it, Bulldog Brian. I hope we can make you happy. And to close the show, I did tell you Joe Pesci made a rap album, and I'll play us out with that.
It's a bitches that'll get you. It's a bitches that'll get you. Hey, hey, beat out my ass, treat on all my bras like trash. You'll catch a blast if you move too fast. I talk with class, you don't have to ask. Getting everything by flashing cash. Fighting and stealing, don't kill without feeling. So I win in casinos before they start dealing. All about respect and intellect. Only mess with the women that pick up the check. 2 supermodels, one on each arm. One chick's brunette, the other was blonde. I heard their fathers had stocks and bonds, so I them up and left them floating in a pond. Custom-made clothes from head to toe. Catch Joe at the fight sitting in the first row. Everybody follows when I'm ready to go. No need to show off, they already know I'm a wise guy. I'm a wise guy. It's a bitches that'll get you. Lovely day in the neighborhood. Lovely day in the neighborhood for a drive-by. It's a bitch.